Good morning, everyone. This is Mario with Microcom Technologies. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's webinar with ALCOMA. Mark will be presenting today. If you have any questions, feel free to submit them at the question box, and Mark will answer them at the end of the presentation. Mark.
Hi, thanks, Mario. Yes, my name is Mark Reynolds, and we represent ALCOMA in the United States. I'd like to give a brief presentation today about, we're going to focus on their licensed radio platform, and we'll take some questions at the end. So a little background on ALCOMA. They're a 21-year-old company now. They've been a world-class manufacturer of radios for many years. They have a depth of experience that goes into government, military, and mobile operators throughout the world. They're a relatively new name to America, but certainly not a new company to do business with. All of the equipment is made in Europe. It's not made in China or other places. Everything's quality controlled by Europeans. And I was speaking to Peter just before the call today, and more than 3,000 terminals sold annually. The business has just significantly gone up over the past few months, and that number is definitely going to be exceeded. So ALCOMA is a very successful company today. As far as where they want to go corporately, they want to continue to be on the leading edge of development. And that also means ALCOMA has taken on some custom projects to do some unique things for customers that need to solve certain types of problems not, say, commercially available. Their manufacturing quality control. One of the things ALCOMA does, and really most other companies don't, ALCOMA quality control checks every single radio. Everything that comes out of their factory has been temperature cycled, it's been programmed. They know it works before it leaves the factory. There's nothing worse as an operator to get something in, you're counting on installing it, you have your crews ready to go, you have site access planned, radio shows up, it doesn't work. Well, that problem doesn't happen with ALCOMA. When the radio shows up, it works. So to me, that's one of the most important parts of choosing a vendor. They can also deliver very, very quickly. And they have a comprehensive technical support team that's global, including one full-time guy here in the U.S. that supports us. Anything outside of U.S. time will go over to a European who's on duty, speaks perfect English. You'll have no problems. Some of the key accounts that ALCOMA is working with in North America. We have a lot of very large wireless ISPs that have migrated from other licensed vendors, now using ALCOMA. We have a Tier 1 TV network that is using both 80 gig and a hybrid 6 gig solution. And, I mean, these are the big boys using ALCOMA. Water districts are very big on it, especially doing video security around their district. We've had success in oil and gas, certainly enterprise, educational, municipal. We're getting more into mobile backhaul as we become more U.S. carrier accepted, and we're doing a lot of multi-dwelling units. That seems to be a real sweet spot for the radios. Globally, ALCOMA works with all the big European mobile operators like the AT&Ts and Verizons here. That's one of their customer bases. They certainly do a lot of government, military, international WISPs, and regional telcos. So they have a mixed account base, if you will, which keeps them strong, and it also forces them to be on the cutting edge to satisfy all these customers. So talking about the Zenith Series radios, the Zenith is an all-outdoor unit. It's relatively simple to install, and you program it on the ground. Everything's ready to go. You can bring it up the tower. You can do a single cable install with this. The available frequencies are licensed 6, 11, 18, unlicensed 24, and light licensed 80 gig. Variety of modulation schemes in the 6, 11, 18, and 24, all the way up to 1024 QAM. The 80 gig has a more simple modulation scheme. With all radios, you can program them from 3.5 to 112 megahertz. It's up to the operator to choose the channel plan they want to use, whether it's, say, 60 megahertz and 6 gig or 80 megahertz and 11 gig. It's up to the operator. You have complete flexibility on setting your channel sizes. Automatic transmit power control, forward error correction, QoS. These radios are carrier certified. They meet the RFC 2544 and Metro Ethernet Carrier Forum, all of their specs. ALCOMA has an advanced management platform that it's really terrific. It's top in the industry according to most of ALCOMA's customers. It allows a very detailed level of drill down into each radio, not only for configuration, but also for monitoring. Like I said, we have 24/7 U.S. support. They have two basic families, if you will, of the radios. There's a 24 gig radio that goes up to 920 megabits full duplex. We talked about that in the last webinar. They have a Zenith 80 gigahertz radio, which I'm going to talk a little bit more in this presentation, but today we'll mostly be focused on the FCC license solutions, 6, 11, and 18 gig. Again, this is an all-outdoor design. It offers the highest link budget in the entire industry. It has hitless ACM. If you're not familiar with that, that's automatic controlled modulation. If the link suffers some type of attenuation due to rain, instead of the link shutting off, it will gradually throttle back in modulation, allowing for higher power output, and it offers it receives the signal better. It's a cleaner receive. By doing both, you get a better signal strength, but you do suffer some bandwidth. This allows you to go from, say, 660 megabits all the way down to 100 megabits in varying steps to keep your link alive. There's a comprehensive management suite. It works with all of the ALCOMA radios, whether split mount, unlicensed, licensed, all outdoor. It works among all of them. It's the most advanced out there, both in management, allowing you to make configurations, and it gives you a heck of a lot of feedback, reporting feedback that you may want to use in your link, whether you're setting up your own SNMP traps and alarms, things you want to look for. This device will give it to you. The Indoor Box has indoor surge protection, and it's also the power converter, PoE injector. It's all in one, making it very simple to install. There's a lot of antenna size options that you can get through ALCOMA. From Europe, we ship the 1 through 4 footers. We source the 6 and 8s and anything larger in the United States. Like I said, all the radios offer up to 112 megahertz channel size. That's the maximum size in the 24 gig. 80 megahertz is the maximum size in 11. 60 is the maximum size in 6. So I think you guys get it that channel size with varying modulations will get you your bandwidth. Something that ALCOMA does that's really unique, and if you've been around the business a long time, you'll realize that connectors are so often the problem when you deal with radios. They tend to corrode. You may have impedance changes. They get wet. They get loose. Cables are the nemesis of this business, and ALCOMA has solved that problem. Instead of having external connectors, ALCOMA has a O-ring protected plate on the rear of the unit and allows inside access that's completely sealed when the radio is operational. And we'll show you a little bit more about that later. All of the radios come with built-in spectrum analyzers. So it's kind of nice to say, gee, we get on the rooftop, let's just look around anyways to make sure someone's not on our frequency. It's nice. They offer Class A slip-fit antennas up to 4 footers, Anything larger than that, we either use coax or some type of flex waveguide. The configuration options are very interesting. So we can do this, the standard 1+0. We can do the 1+1, which is a hot standby configuration. A 2+0, which allows you to take two outdoor units through a coupler and basically put these units back to back and attach that into the antenna. So you can use two outdoor radios into one antenna. And if you really want to get creative, if you decide to use a dual feed antenna, you can go up to a 4+0 configuration. You may have some losses with dual feed and with couplers, but it's certainly something that you can take a look at, and it's certainly possible if you need a lot of bandwidth going out to some location. ALCOMA solution solves that. There's a couple of ways you can power the units, either PoE, if you want to call it that. It's ALCOMA's power over Ethernet cable, or you can use direct neg 48 VDC if you have a commercial power supply, or if you want to use that. You can run standard copper up to 100 meters. We prefer to see you use a Cat7 if you're going to use something that long. We'll address the cables in a little bit. The units have fiber optic and copper interfaces included. We can talk, you'll see that on the back of the units, but you have a bunch of options how you want to do this. So this is a picture of the rear plate on the ALCOMA unit. And if you see, there's an access panel that's protected by an O-ring, so it completely seals up. And you have your fiber optic connectors on the bottom, but there's also a grommet that you feed power up inside to the unit, and there's a punch down block that you're looking at that will accept the power. And I think there's another on the side. You can take another look at it inside of the outdoor unit space that the customer has access to. We also have a version, and this is pretty much the standard version that we carry in the U.S. It's one electrical plus one optical input. What some of the customers do is they run fiber up to the radio, and that's their data traffic, and they use the copper side for PoE and out-of-band management. It's one way to do it, and I believe that Microcom offers that custom cable. If you need to get it, I can't remember, but I can be sure to give it to Mario. So there is a single hybrid cable, fiber plus PoE. This is the indoor box, and it's kind of an all-in-one. It has a surge protector, it's the power supply, and you can see it's also the Ethernet injector. So this will combine everything into one cable on copper, and you don't have to buy internal surge protectors with this device. So it helps save some money. This is a way that you can do some cabling. It gives you a picture here of what's made up in the Molex Connector. We like to see Cat7 if you're going on long cable runs, and that's probably true of just about anybody's radio if you're going to be running a gig-E platform. Cat7 is the way to go. If you have a shorter path, Cat6 is fine, but I wouldn't try to stretch that beyond 30 meters for Cat6. Fiber is also a terrific way to go, and obviously provides electrical insulation going into a router or switch. It's probably the preference of most people in the industry right now. And then we have the hybrid model, as you guys are aware of. You can run your power on one and your signal on the other. All the antennas are FCC Class A, and they're slip fit 1, 2, 3, 4 footers, and as I said, either coax or waveguide for the larger stuff. We also have the 80 gig solution. It's kind of licensed, light licensed, if you will. I did want to include it in the presentation. just because it's a terrific product. 1.25 gig full duplex all the time. There's no throttling back on bandwidth. It does offer a hot standby, a 1+1 hot standby configuration. It's a carrier-proven design. It's basically the same chassis as all the other Zenith radios. If you look, it operates in the 71 to 76 and the 80. Excuse me, that's a typo there. But there's two separate bands, transmit and receive band. You have two gigabit internet etherfaces, automatic power control, forward error correction, the full management suite. 1 and 2 foot antennas are both available. Here's a comparison we just did between ALCOMA. I don't know if you all have seen this before or not. ALCOMA has an 80 gigahertz model, and we compared this to a very well-known competitor. All the information is taken from their data sheets, from what we could gather. So if you look at it, ALCOMA is always pumping out 1.2 gig. The competitor, in reality, is anywhere from 20 megabits to a gig. ALCOMA uses a full channel size, where the competitor's product is really built for the European market, so they're using less than half of the channel size. So they're not taking advantage of what's available and therefore limiting the bandwidth. The only way that you can achieve higher bandwidth is via a modulation scheme. ALCOMA uses very simple modulation, and it allows them to they use the whole channel, so therefore they can get 1.25 gig. If you're using 500 megahertz, you have to use a modulation scheme to get your bandwidth, and obviously that's more susceptible to rain fade. The higher you go, you lose power. So ALCOMA, they measure their gear, the highest bit error rate, their carrier class, the lowest latency. And again, I'll make some of these comparisons available after the presentation. Don't have to go through them all. We don't need hitless ACM just because it doesn't change modulation. Here's something really interesting, though, I do want to bring up versus this competitor. ALCOMA has a plus 20 dBm transmit power versus 7. I mean, that's huge. And if you look at the antenna gain, ALCOMA, even on the slip-fit antennas, has 2 dB gain better than the competitor of the same size. So dropping down to max EIRP, you can see that ALCOMA's radio, it runs so much hotter than that competitor's. Again, all of this information will be available if you want to look at it. Everything here is public information. It's taken off somebody else's data sheet. A little bit more in the comparison, but it is something, if you're interested, Nady, take a look at it. Some of the services that ALCOMA provides. So say you have a link, say you have an opportunity. How do I want to address this? Well, one way is you can go on ALCOMA's online path calculator and put in your locations, and it allows you to play with antenna sizes and frequencies, modulation rates, channel sizes. You can really customize that link, fool around with it, see what's best for you. Or I should say, ALCOMA will also do the same with their engineers. And this is free. You'll get a whole report showing, okay, at 1024 QAM, I'm going to get 920 megabits, and at 512, I'm going to get 850. So you can look at the charts and look at your path availability numbers. There's 24-hour support. The factory will configure your radio ahead of time. If you're uncertain how to do that, they'll be happy to set it up for you. We can offer free training via Skype. On-site training is also available. Overnight replacement is available. Microcom stocks a wide variety of the ALCOMA equipment, and anything they don't stock, 6 gig, maybe some 11 gig radios that have unique frequencies, that's typically a 2-week lead time, which is much faster than most people need them based upon installation requirements. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening in, and I hope someone out there has some questions and we can clarify something for you. So Mario,
Hey, all right, Mark. It looks like you covered a lot, so I don't see that we have any questions at the moment. But I do know that, if you guys have any questions, um, they'll get to me and I'll forward them to you, okay? Um, but thank you very much, Mark, for the wonderful presentation. Um,
and you have
and
a
I'd like,
copy of this. So if someone would like to have it, by all means, send it out.
eh, all right, you got it. I'd like to thank everyone so much, for attending today. If you have any other questions, you can feel free to contact your sales rep, or you can email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned today, please visit us at www.microcom.us or contact your sales rep, as well as this presentation was recorded, so we will be uploading it to our Microcom YouTube channel. So if you would like to reference it again, you have access to it through that. Thank you very much, Mark, and I appreciate it, all your support.
ALCOMA thanks everybody for attending. Thank you again, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.